Kenobi. Did you say Kenobi? Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh overview. Today, we're going to take a look at Hasbro Star Wars Black Series Wave 44. Special thanks to Jason over at yakface.com for reminding me just what number this series is, because it's been a while since I've reviewed a whole wave, huh? Like I've said all year, I've been more picky and choosy. And not just because of cost, although that is a big factor in me not being a completist anymore, but there's also the fact that I didn't need another Obi-Wan or another Darth Vader. And it's cool. Those are main characters that need to be out there, but I've got versions that I like. When it came to this wave, it was all characters I needed for the shelf, or characters I already had in the actual looks that I wanted, or just a different cool version. I didn't get the reissue Obi-Wan from this wave, and I didn't get the Grogu because I couldn't do it. I couldn't pay full price for... If it goes on sale at some time in the future, I may pick it up, but my collection isn't hurting if I never do that, because I'll have these in the collection. I'm going to start out with Axe Woves because he seems to be the least amount of new sculpt in the wave. There's the bio if you want to take a look at that. And it's nice to finish off this trio of Mandalorians, but we knew this was coming as soon as we got this, didn't we? Essentially 97.5% reuse from the Death Watch Mando. Same shoulder bells, same undersuit, same bracers, same thigh pads, knee pads, boots, chest armor, everything behind too, until you get to the belt and the head. The belt's been modified to look more like Axe Woves' belt, and then it has this padding piece that hangs down below and then goes up over the abs. And that's accurate to the show, except it's supposed to go over this undershirt that's hanging across right here, and then under the chest armor. And since this is a separate piece, you can actually kind of do that, but then it goes over this. So this is a nice compromise. I mean, they were working with what they had. It's barely noticeable. And then the likeness is pretty good. Again, we have that photoreal shine to it. It's not as bad as we've seen in the past. It looks more sweaty than anything. May hit that with some Mr. Hobby matte spray or something. The overall colors come off a little brighter than what we saw in the show, depending on your TV settings, I guess. But it hasn't been put through the TV filter. This may be what this costume looks like when you look at it on a mannequin in real life. Got some silver markings on it, show some wear and tear. Same thing down here at the thigh pads, just here and there. Articulation-wise, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with a ball down at the bottom. Some up, some down. So much tilt. Left and right. Butterfly joint that goes forward and back. It's not really hindered because the chest armor is an overlay, and it's rubbery too. Speaking of that, there's also the shoulder belt on the hoop that goes around the shoulder peg, but it doesn't want to rotate all the way around with the arm. It seems to snag right there if you kind of move it around. Hinge at the shoulder comes up to there. Hinge and swivel at the elbow goes slightly past 90, rotates in and out. Swivel at the wrist with an up and down hinge on a trigger finger hand. Like I said, this is an overlay. There is a dumbbell or a ball mid-torso that allows for some hula hoop. Ball at the hip comes up to here, back, out. Swivel at the thigh, nicely hidden behind the thigh armor. Hinge and swivel at the knee, barely past 90, rotates in and out. Hinge at the ankle goes way back, forward, front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, it's the Mando blaster we've seen several times before. Some silver paint to the handle, underneath the barrel. Easy peasy to put in his hand, but if you want to store it away, there is a holster on the back of the belt. Comes with your standard Mando jetpack, the blues, the silvers. Got the hole with 2 angled pegs in the back, plugs right in. Yeah, that's a tight grip. Then there's also the helmet, the same colors as the body. You have some silver streaks right here denoting some damage. The gray stripe going all the way around. Some black here and here. Just a good looking helmet, except in the package, it's been smashed shut a little bit. So we're just going to give it some heat from the good old Johnny Storm 5000. See if it just pops back into place. Dang, did you see that? Just blow some hot air at it and it returns to shape. And with that, should just, oh, well, bucket's kind of loose. Which is okay because it's not scratching facial details off, but get it in a pose, get it on the shelf, it should be fine. Axe stands slightly under 6 inches tall and finishes off this crew nicely. Next up, let's open up Magistrate Greef Karga. There's his artwork, there's his bio. Don't put it in your mouth. Now, we have gotten a Greef Karga before, but this costume, this look for him, I like better than the first go round. Except for this. Let's get this out of the way right off the bat. That does like to pop up. You can pull the two sides and it straightens out a bit, but this is the natural drape for this plastic piece on this figure. I don't know, I may have to figure something out. Still though, I like the overall color scheme. In fact, pretty damn close to what we saw in the show. The colors may be slightly off, but for the most part. The boots are inaccurate though, because the new figure is using parts from the old figure. Same boots, same legs hidden by robes in both cases, and then the same arms, which causes more of an inaccuracy than the boots, I think, because again, you get the robes like this, barely notice. Here there's a texture to the sleeves, which they then had to match on the torso to make it look like a shirt. The problem is, it's supposed to have less texture to match this because it's one big red shirt. Overall, to get this level of regalness, yeah, I'm still messing with this. It's gonna be traffic coned a bit, although they did a nice job of splitting it in places where it would get out of the way of the legs. And you want to know the honest truth? I didn't realize this mustard color was on the inside until just now. Because like this, you can only see it right there, and maybe a tiny bit right there. Even without the outer robe, you also have this hang down piece, which is split at the sides, but because it comes around and it conforms to the body, it's not as flexy as you would think. Also, this strap coming down and the holster is part of this, along with the strap going around the leg. So it's gonna get in the way of some movement. Oh well, that's not terrible. But one thing I just noticed, it's crashing up there and kind of marring the plastic. Yeah, be careful with that. Don't have him doing any high kicks, I guess. Mando! Then up at the head, it is not reuse of the first head, which I was okay with this likeness. I think this one's better. Again, with the shininess, I'll have to knock that down, but I really love the gray peeking through in the beard. For articulation, like I said, slightly traffic cone, but there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with the ball down at the bottom. Can look up and then shift forward. That setup is always lovely with the tilt left and right. What do we got in the torso? Oh, this is an overlay too. That's interesting. Show me your secrets. There is a butterfly in there. There is a lot laying over the top here, but you can go all the way around. Hinge up to here. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, goes barely past 90 with rotation in and out. Swivel at the wrists, and then, yep, hinge up and down, trigger finger hand. Ball joint at the waist. Oh, there's, again, a lot going on. Ball coming out to the hip, comes up to, well, we've already established that you don't want to go that far because of marring, but yeah, back out, swivel at the thigh, hinge and swivel at the knee, comes up to here, rotation, hinge at the ankle, goes all the way back, very nice forward, and then a front facing pin for rocker. For accessories, he comes with this blaster, and it is not reuse of the first version, but it is lacking paint. It's just in plastic gray. Do some pushing and some twisting. Mando. But if you want him just magistrating around, there is a holster, and that hides down below. Greef stands at about 6 1/8. And then here he is with the Black Series Mando custom head, custom cape, along with Cara Dune. Next up, let's take a look at the Grand Inquisitor from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Side art and the bio. I don't mean that as a bad This is what we saw in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So I like the action figure based on that. But when I see the name Grand Inquisitor, something else comes to mind. So holding this in my hand, looking at it, admiring it, liking it, there's some confusion. It's like some glitches. Just nice sculpting all the way around. In fact, looking at the armor bits here, if this was solicited a few years back, I would have went, there's no way you're getting any arm movement or torso movement. But with the advances these days and everything else, with all this stuff laying on him, yeah, it gets out of the way of movement. It's crazy. You have the belt going around with the squares and the rectangles, and this red dot makes me think Darth Vader, you know, besides the black armor look. Have the armor bits out here, which now that I'm looking at it, what are these protecting? Because this is all exposed. Bagginess to the pants, coming down to the boots, your standard kind of leather Imperial look. What do we got underneath? It's got armor and more wrinkles, gray, black, fairly basic, but still interesting to look at. That was very debonair, wasn't it? The shoulder armor, even though it comes down past the elbow, is still on the tried and true loop around the shoulder. So it's not going to get in the way of movement. It'll kind of drag around. You'll have to guide it, but man, that just works so well. And the torso is an overlay. And then it's the same for that hip armor. It also has some flex attached at the bottom, which is good because that would have sucked coming up trying to kick out, pop it up there, gets out of the way. So there's form and function. The cloth cape is a bit flat once you get past the shoulders. Below, it just hangs there. Nice color on the inside. Comes up under the shoulder armor and comes all the way down, so it's not just gonna fall off. Have the red Knight Rider light across the front, the pin, and then the head. Despite what I said about not looking like my version of the Grand Inquisitor, I still like this. It's a live action version, even though we've seen those aliens in live action before, but and then the eyes. I wish those were a little more Sithy. There is a hint of red to them, but I wish they were full on just orange and red. Overall, it works. Going over articulation, there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with the ball going down into the body. Can look up, not a lot of down. Again with the tilt, so nice. Left and right, there's a hell of a butterfly joint at the shoulder, goes back, goes forward. Pin coming out to the shoulder, rotates all the way around. Again, the shoulder pad doesn't want to rotate all the way. Flexes up, you can bring the arm around. Then you just have to put it all back into place. Arm hinges up. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, but improved. Look at the range here. Swivel at the wrist with a hinge. Oh, in and out. What do we got on the left? Oh, in and out too. Dumbbell joint at mid-torso, some hula hoop action. Ball coming out to the hip, allows for this. And again, move this armor plate out of the way, can go to there. Swivel at the thigh. Hinge and swivel at the knee. Again, they've cleared out enough space here in the back to go this far. Rotation. Hinge at the angle goes to there and to there. Front facing pin for rocker. For accessories, we get the Inquisitor lightsaber. Got some nice paint with the black and the gray. And then right here is my favorite thing. Instead of the fifth brother's one big honkin' peg right in the middle, they've reduced it down to two smaller pegs to get out of the way of the hand. It's just a lot easier to grip. In fact, it is spaced exactly the amount to miss the fingers. But if you don't want them holding it, you can pop the blades out of each side, and the two pins plug into those peg holes right there in the upper back. Beautiful. The Grand Inquisitor stands slightly over 6 inches tall. Works great. Actually, now that I have them all lined up with the fifth brother and Reva. I'd put them with an Obi-Wan, but I don't have one yet. I'm waiting on that Target version. Next, let's crack open Mayfeld. There's your side art. Man, I love this episode. And there's just a little taste of backstory. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been waiting for this version of Migs. Like I said, I love that episode of The Mandalorian. It's, you know, a team of specialists. They each have their own thing. And Mayfeld is the sharpshooter. He's got plain sleeves going on with the wrinkles coming down. Same with the legs for the most part. Just some pants. Got a couple of pockets there because it's Star Wars. There's always something to put away in pockets. Same thing on the back. I'm noticing that the crisscross pattern is very popular during the Mando era. Nice texture to the torso part of the shirt. Almost has a knit look to it. But then that doesn't carry around to the back. It goes all smooth. Same color. It just kind of disappears as it transitions. I don't know if that was how it was in the show or not, but it's odd seeing it on the figure. Then you have the harnesses and holsters because he goes in packing. Nice metallic-y copper color to the buckle, and then the browns on the straps going up and around. And then there's that buckle color there and there too. I like it. The back has some gunmetal to the buckle, and those browns carry over. Got something hanging above the holster here, another pouch. But what's throwing me is the colors of the torso and the sleeve. The pants are blue-gray, and then the torso is kind of a reddish color. But then the arms come back to that blue-gray like it's a jumpsuit under a vest of some kind. Now, I'm not sure what it looks like in real life, but in the show, it seems like the colors are a lot closer on the upper body. If I were to do a dark wash on the whole thing, kind of bring it all together. But right now, it just seems like it's blue, red, blue. And then there's the head, and I guess I lied. That is reuse of the previous Mayfeld. I think the photo reel on the new one's a bit better. It looks more like Bill Burr. Still not the greatest likeness, but closer. This is now my Mayfeld for the display. Don't get me wrong, I still like this because, well, okay, now that I think about it, that's probably my favorite Mayfeld moment. But like I said, team building. This is more pure Mayfeld. Articulation, there's your dumbbell at the top of the neck with the ball going down. Up and have some down. Again, lovely. Left and right. First glance, the torso is sculpted right around the shoulder ball. But if I do this, that sure looks like a butterfly joint. There is not a lot of clearance there. Rotates all the way around, hinges up to here. Hinge and swivel at the elbow. Oh, well, I was just bragging on the Grand Inquisitor. This isn't as nice. Up and down hinge on a trigger finger hand, swivel. Dual wield, so is it? Yeah. up and down on the left too. There is a dumbbell joint at the mid-torso hidden, well, you can see it barely right there. It's hidden nicely by the strap coming across. There's some crunch and some arc back, some tilt, some rotation. Ball at the hip comes up to there, flexing the holster out of the way. Back, not so much. Out, not bad. Swivel at the thigh. Hinge and swivel at the knee, about 90, in and out. Then at the ankle, there's a hinge way back. Wave forward. This wave is good for forward hinge. Front-facing pin for rocker. Migs being a sharpshooter, he comes with this pistol, and then he comes with another pistol, and another pistol. All four are the same sculpt, fairly simple. And then, as always, good old push and twist gets it in the hand. But if he's just hanging around the ship or sitting around, holster there, holster there, holster here, which seems like it's made for a much bigger gun, and holster here, and this one's even bigger. There you go, all the accessories stored away. There's also a fifth gun on the backpack. It took me a second to realize in the show that this gun was just kind of hovering over his shoulder on a mechanical arm, which works really well if you're in a quick draw type situation. Kind of a trooper look to it, even though he's not a stormtrooper. Got the squares, the rectangles. Hey, wait, that's another running theme, huh? And then this gun is molded into the arm. You have a hinge here, hinge here. I wish you could rotate, kinda, but that still works. MiG stands at about 5 7/8, which is about perfect to Bill Burr's 5'10". And then here's how it looks next to the Black Series Zero and Mando. Damn, we need the rest of this team. Next, I think we're going to open up Clone Wars Darth Maul. There's your artwork, then there's your brief history. There's just something about a Darth Maul action figure, isn't there? Yeah, we've gotten Darth Mauls before, but man, I don't know what it is about this design. It's just elegant. And that's the second time I've used that word this week. Like other Black Series figures based on animated looks, they've taken the overall design and made it realistic. All the same beats are there. They've just added some design work to the metal legs, some wrinkles to places, and then the head. But in the case of Darth Maul, he's had a live-action counterpart. So, I mean, they know what he looks like. But they've also updated it from the last Darth Maul head we got. It's not so much of a teethy smile, it's more of a sneer now. You can still see some teeth, but not near as much. Still angry, and then the horns are a bit longer, just barely. They're sharper too. But I do think the neck and torso are reused. Seems to be the same sculpt. Same problem in the red department though. You can see that the chest is a brighter red than the face. Maybe I can chalk it up to his face is always exposed, so there's less tan to his chest. The rest of the figure is new though, and it has to be to capture this look. You have the almost Jedi-like tunic coming down around the belt that has way too much metal to it. What are you doing, Darth Maul? Oh, it's because he ain't got no legs. He has to have a lot of this to hold himself together. Same thing on the back, tunic running down. There's some metal to the belt, some hanging down. Little pouch, maybe it's batteries for his legs or something. More wrinkles out here on the sleeves with a texture that matches this undershirt. And then the gloves have the same metal just to tie it all together. The upper legs, again, pouches, wrinkles, working down to the metal lower legs. And I love this. The base plastic is a shiny silverish gray, but then they've added gunmetal in places in order to make things pop. Just make parts and pieces stand out. It's hard to beat Darth Maul's original look in The Phantom Menace, but this comes damn close. Going over articulation, are you sick of hearing dumbbell joint at the top of the neck with the ball going down into the body? Look up, look down, tilt, left and right. There's a butterfly down inside the tunic, can go back, can go forward. The shoulder pad is looped around the shoulders. This time it goes all the way around. Oh, look at that. But it's also flexy, so the hinge at the shoulder comes up to there. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, not all the way up, but not 90. Swivel at the wrist with an up and down hinge on a lightsaber wielding hand. Same thing on the left. Interesting. You can see that moving. There's a cut mid-torso. In fact, I can make it turn. Most of the movement is a ball at the waist behind this belt with some crunch, some back, some tilt, and then rotation. What do these do? Oh, that's going to get out of the way. Ball at the hip comes up to here. Back, out. Best of the wave so far. Swivel at the thigh, right at the line of the tunic hanging down. Hinge and swivel at the knee. Be careful with that because that seems to be a small peg and a tight joint. Heavy detents. Comes up to about 90 and then rotates. Ankle hinges back and forward with a front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, there are two lightsabers. One is half of his original, and then the other half is just added on in order to make it a double-bladed lightsaber again. Very tight to put together. But that's okay because it's very secure. Then you can also remove the blades, and there is a pin right there on the side of the lightsaber. And then there's a peg hole. Man, does that seem huge hanging there. And it's not the tightest fit. You move the arm around and it wants to pop it off. But it's a lightsaber. Wait, is there a direction for this? That one doesn't even pop. Bit of a snap to it, but not as tight as this end going there. Also, the blades on this new release is longer than the shirtless Maul lightsabers. Darth Maul stands at 5 3/4 inches tall. It's a little shorter than the original Darth Maul. This is actually the archive edition, isn't it? I'm not missing these legs though, and these feet. This is much more stable standing here. And then here it is with Ahsoka and the new style clone trooper. And then let's finish it up with Aayla Secura. Artwork, and then a little rundown on her. And Aayla is a beautiful start if you want to give me all the prequel Jedi, Hasbro. I mean, just look at it. Captured perfectly. Now, when we first saw this figure, I thought, oh, those legs are reuse. We've been getting the hinge and swivel at the knees. Here we have the double pin exposed. So that automatically means, yep, it's reuse. Which is okay. But on the Aura Singh and the other figures that reuse this base, when you swing the leg up, it swings out. That's because they're pinned at 45 degrees going down. Thankfully, they fixed that problem for Aayla. These are actually pinned in 90, so they come straight up. And the lower leg is reuse, where the boot is sculpted on, but you get down to the foot and they've actually updated it with some extra design work, a higher heel. So that changes the height and the look. Otherwise, the rest is new sculpt. She has this top on with the texture, kind of a wrap coming down and then band across. And then that continues down the left arm, causing this asymmetrical effect that I like so much. New separate overlay belt piece has this front, the flap coming down, interesting texture to it. A couple of strappies hanging down on each side just to throw in extra flair. And then the flap in the back matches the texture of the front, but you can see where they missed with the paint on mine a little bit. Then there's the head with the Leku, the Twi'lek look. Just overall, it works. Those eyes peering out from the pale blue skin, the eyebrows, the purplish tint to the lips, and then the brown wraps that just work into the rest of the costume. It's a simple look, but they nailed it. I mean, this standing on the shelf, it's eye-catching. Going over articulation, there's a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck. You can already see that the head tails are going to get in the way from looking up. And look down a bit. Nice tilt, though, side to side. And I'm just now realizing that this is an overlay. Butterfly. But not a lot of movement to that. Pin coming out to the shoulder, rotates around, then hinges up to there. Hinge and swivel at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, up and down hinge, lightsaber wielding hand. Same on the left. Ball joint or dumbbell mid-torso, lots of hula hoop. Soft flap in the front, ball coming out to the hip, allows for this, and this, and this. Swivel at the thigh. Double knee comes all the way up. Swivel at the top of the boot. Hinge at the ankle goes back. Forward. Again, this wave is impressive with the forward hinge. Front-facing pin for rocker. For accessories, comes with her lightsaber hilt, and at this point we've gotten so many lightsabers, I don't know if this is reuse or not. But it has a nice silver, and then the blade is blue, despite what this looks like. Again, you can pop the blade out. There is a pin there on the side, and that plugs into there. Much more secure than Darth Maul. Aayla stands at 5 7/8, which works great next to other prequel characters like Mace and Bly. So at the end of the day, it's nice to see Star Wars Black Series back in the swing of things. I've had my gripes about reuse and repaints and credit collection and carbonized collection and such, but then a wave like this comes along where it's all characters that I need to add to the shelf, or updates to looks of characters that I like more than what I have in the display. And that's exactly what this is. I will say, because of the overlays and everything on Greef Karga, he is cumbersome. He is not going to be doing a lot of acrobatics, but I just need him to stand there and look cool. And that's what he does. I still got to work on that, though. Now, the Grand Inquisitor is different. I like the look for what it is, but it's just not my look for the Grand Inquisitor. I'm not sure if a custom head will fit on this body because of the thickness, but speaking of that, this can get kind of acrobatic. It has nice movement to it, so I like the figure overall. Axe completes that trio, and I always love a good Mandalorian. I forgot to point out that they should have painted these buttons on the pouches, though. Mayfeld, yep, he's going on the shelf. I may do some repainting. I don't know what I want to do with this shirt. But otherwise, he's an arm-to-the-teeth asshole. I like that in plastic form. I have to admit that I do have Darth Maul sprinkled throughout the display, but this one, with my Clone Wars stuff, and just overall, I said earlier that it's hard to beat the original costume from the prequels, but Man, the more I mess with this, the more I like this. And then Aayla Secura. I'll say it again. All the prequel Jedis. Gimme. I forgot to mention, I ordered these from Star Action Figures over in the UK. The price worked out about the same, and I wanted to mess with some Star Wars figures. I wanted some newness. So I just click, ordered. If you're interested in that, the link is in the description. I will say, these sat in customs for 9, 10, 11 days. That's just the way of the world at the moment. So even if you order them, there's still a bit of wait. But I think they're worth it. I'm pretty happy. If you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. 3 characters are from Mando, and then 3 characters are from before A New Hope. You got your prequels, you got your Clone Wars, you have your Obi-Wan Kenobi. So not as spread out as I would like, but a nice selection.